Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari. कामधेनु का गिरधारी गौरा महाप्रभु की जय, पंचतत्वा की जय, लक्ष्मण स्नेह भगवान की जय, गौरताएं की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Krishna. So today we are going to discuss, read from third chapter titled Karma Yoga and sloka number 37. So if you have your gadgets, you may probably look at that as well. Sloka 37. Chapter 3, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, sloka 37. So we'll first recite word by word and then line by line. So repeat after me. Kama, Esha, Krodha, Esha, Rajogunaha, Samudbhavaha, Mahashano, Mahapapma, Vidhi, Yenam, Iha, Vairinam. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, Kama Yesha, Krodha Yesha, Kama Yesha, Krodha Yesha, Rajoguna Samudbhavaha, Rajoguna Samudbhavaha, Mahashano Mahapapma, Mahashano Mahapapma, Vidhiyenam Ihvairinam, Vidhiyenam Ihvairinam. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, Kama Yesha, Krodha Yesha, Rajoguna Samudbhavaha, Mahashano Mahapapma, Vidhiyenam Ihvairinam. Anyone would like to listen? Would you like to listen?
Greatest enemy.
Listen.
Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha.
Kama Yesha, Krodha Yesha.
Rajoguna Samudbhava.
Rajoguna Samudbhavaha.
Mahashano Mahapapma.
Mahashano Mahapapma.
Vidhinam Iha Vairinam.
Vidhiyenam Ihvairinam. Enough you have gadgets? None of you have gadgets? Okay. Alright. Word to word. Sri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
The personality of God had said,
The personality of Godhead said,
Kamaha,
Kama,
lust.
lust,
Eshaha,
Eshaha,
this.
this,
Krodhaha,
Krodha,
wrath.
wrath,
Eshaha,
Eshaha,
this.
this,
Rajaha guna,
Rajaha Guna,
the mode of passion.
the mode of passion,
Samudbhavaha,
Samudbhava,
born of.
born of,
Maha asanaha,
Mahasasana,
Maha
Mahasana,
all devouring.
old devotee,
Mahapapma,
Mahapapma,
greatly sinful.
greatly sinful,
Vidhi,
Vidhi,
no.
no,
Enam,
Ena,
this.
this,
Iha,
Iha,
in the material world.
in the material world,
Vairinam,
Vairinam,
greatest enemy.
greatest enemy.
The translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, repeat please.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
it is lust only,
it is lust only,
Arjuna,
Arjuna,
which is
which is
born of
born of
contact with
contact with
the material mode of passion
the material modes of passion
and
and
later transformed into
transformed into
wrath
wrath
and
which
which is
is
the all-devouring
the all-devouring
sinful enemy
sinful enemy
of this world.
of this world.
Purport.
But
I'll just read it, please hear it. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion. Or, in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust as milk in contact with sour tamarind is transformed into yogurt. Then again, when lust is unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of the living entity, and it is the lust only which induces the pure living entity to remain entangled in the material world. Wrath is the manifestation of the mode of ignorance. These modes exhibit themselves as wrath and other corollaries. If therefore the mode of passion, instead of being degraded into the mode of ignorance, is elevated to the mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting, then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expanded himself into many for his ever increasing spiritual bliss. And the living entities are parts and parcel of this spiritual bliss. They also have partial independence, but by misuse of their independence, when the service attitude is transformed into the propensity for sense enjoyment, they come under the sway of lust. This material creation is created by the Lord to give facility to the conditioned souls to fulfill those lustful propensities. And when completely baffled by prolonged lustful activities, the living entities begin to inquire about their real position. The inquiry is beginning of the Vedanta Sutras, wherein it is said, Adhato Brahma Jignasa. One should inquire into the Supreme. And the Supreme is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam as Janmadyasya Yatonmaya Itaratarasya, or the origin of everything is the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, the origin of lust is also in the Supreme. If therefore lust is transformed into love for the Supreme, or transformed into Krishna consciousness, or in other words, desiring everything for Krishna, then both lust and wrath can be spiritualized. Hanuman, the great servitor of Lord Rama, exhibited his wrath by burning the golden city of Ravana. But by doing so, he became the greatest devotee of the Lord. Here also, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord induces Arjuna to engage his wrath upon his enemies for the satisfaction of the Lord. Therefore, lust and wrath, when they are employed in Krishna consciousness, become our friends instead of our enemies. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we are into this chapter of third chapter of Bhagavad Gita titled Karma Yoga, and here we are into the portion of section of this chapter where it's concluding section of this chapter, where Arjuna is asking a question again. Why we are helplessly engaged in sinful activities? The verse prior to this, Sloka 36. Arjuna says, by what is one impelled to sinful activities, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? This is a question that Arjuna is asking to Krishna. As if somebody is forcing us. We helplessly engage ourselves in so many sinful activities. Why is it so? What is the cause for that? Is what he is asking. Is what he is asking here. So further Krishna is answering here. What is that impelling force that is causing one to act though one does not want to act? Of course, sometimes we might be acting, we might be doing, not knowing whether that is right thing or wrong thing. We don't know this thing. So, for us to have that discussion of doing right thing versus not doing the wrong things, it requires what it requires? Consciousness, intelligence. It requires intelligence. So, but again, it's not that we know everything, isn't it? We don't know everything, but just we act. Just our so-called internal consciousness, or something that is from inside, it either propels, motivates, or instigates to do something, and we do it. So we don't know many times the consequence of it, the implications of it. And so then we act. So the real reason why we do so is explained in this response by Lord Krishna in this. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So Krishna is saying, Uvacha, Bhagavan, Lord Sri Krishna is saying. So when some authority says something, we should pay a lot more attention. If our father instructs us to do certain way, he's saying so because out of his experience. He has seen the life. He has gone through the life, ups and downs of life. And he's saying it. It is for our good, for our benefit, he is speaking. So if you are little obedient and hear to those the wisdom or instructions, it will definitely avoid getting into problems or falling into the bigger issues, getting into bigger issues. Similarly, Krishna is giving a real root cause why we engage in such a sinful kind of activities. First of all, what is sinful activity? What is sinful activity? What is good or pious activity? Is a question we need to ask ourselves. We'll try to answer that as well. So let's see what Krishna is saying here. Of course, we recited, we read it also. Let me read it again. The sloka and translation. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Kamayesha Krodhayesha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidhiyenam Yehavairinam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only. So what is propelling, what is forcing someone to act sinfully? It is lust. It is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion. And which, then see what happens. After this, kama transforms into wrath. What does wrath means? Anger, isn't it? It's anger. Krodha. Krodha is anger. It's another word is wrath. And which is all devouring. This krodha, my Guru Maharaj says, anger is a danger. Just one letter word, a difference. It's a danger. It's the same Krishna is saying, which is all devouring. It sucks you like anything. It traps you like anything. It would become very difficult for us to get out of that trap, that fall down. It is said, no? So usually in the anger, what we do? We vent out so many things. We express so many things. Whether it is fair or unfair, no such a distinction is made. Because we lose that intelligence. We lose that intelligence and we just express the anger. Just like a pressure cooker, when it's built up with the pressure, what happens? It's like that. Just like that, we release our pressure onto someone. We don't see it is proper thing to do or improper thing to do. No such a distinction is made. So that's why this anger is danger. That's why Krishna. It's all devouring, sinful enemy of the world. So one leads to other. See how the consequences of this. One, we are doing sinful activities. Why? I have some desire somewhere in the back of my mind, back of my consciousness, to become something, to aspire something, to achieve something in the life. It does not mean that everything that we desire is wrong or incorrect. But there is a way to desire it. There is a proper, authentic way, sastric way to desire it, to achieve it in the life. If we do not desire it in the sastric way, then it becomes a problem. That's where the vicious circle of one leading to other starts and kicks off, and then we'll get into so much of this vicious kind of circle. Yeah, so kama yesha, krodha yesha. So, here Krishna is saying, Arjuna is asking, why we are doing these sinful activities. So it is a kama. So in the scriptures, there is a method, process to fulfill the desires. Do you know? Do you recall? So it's, I'm sure this very, all of you know it. I just say that. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So where is Kama? Kama is the third one, isn't it? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So keep aside for a time being Moksha. We are not interested in the Moksha. We are interested only fulfilling our desires. Right? I have desire, I want to fulfill my desires. But I want to fulfill my desires in a very Shastric way, in a more authentic and authorized way. Isn't it? That's all we are looking. We don't want to get into a path of illegal way of fulfilling our desires. Fairly, morally, we want to fulfill our desires. So what is the path for that? Dharma. No, there is some prescribed path that is suggested in the scriptures. That is the path, dharma. So when we do our duties, so there is another definition or meaning for dharma is the prescribed duties. Prescribed duties as per the scriptures. So that's what. So dharma. So if you do your dharma, so we are all working. I am also working. So when we work, certainly it gives certain result. So that is called artha. So when we do our duty fairly, morally, ethically, sincerely, honestly, it certainly gives us, awards us with some result. That is artha, fruit of that activity, fruit of our duty. And that fruit, using that fruit or using that artha, so you can say that financial status or economic status, it will give us certain level of economic status. So with that economic status, you have some desires, you will fulfill those desires. Again, what are these desires? So desires, you can kind of classify them broadly into three parts. Desires which are of necessities, definitely required. What are such things that are necessities that we require in our life? Food, shelter, roti, kapda, makan. So that's yes, absolutely. Roti, kapda, makan is required. That is essential. To maintain this body, certainly they require food. And to have proper shelter, to sleep and to rest and do our duties, yes, you require shelter. So anything beyond this, yes, again to have proper covering, yes, you require nice dressing. So anything beyond that is also we require, isn't it? If just by fulfilling these three things we are happy, no. With the roti kapda makan we are not really happy, or we are not happy currently. We require some comfort. I require a fan to be turning, otherwise I feel sweating. Is it? I need AC. So roti, kapda, makan is required, yeah, that's true. But makan, I require 3-bedroom flat at Bangla. See this, how the necessities we are complicating gradually. And not only 1-bedroom apartment or one bangla, I require one more bangla for financial security. So something like that. It could be different reason why we are aspiring. So necessities, the comforts, luxuries. At a high level you can classify them into this. So these are the desires. There is nothing wrong even if you are aspiring for luxuries also, but ethically, dharma, artha, kama. Ethically. So what is that dharma means? Dharma means doing your duty, leaving rest to Krishna. That is dharma. Depend on him. Depend on him does not mean that we'll be very lazy. No, we'll be very careful. will be very determined, will be very active in our engagement. So with that, that's why. And at the same time, you would not be expecting, forcing the result, the artha, demanding, oh, I need to get a promotion by end of this next year. My package need to double by the end of next year. Huh? But you can aspire probably. Yeah, because we are keeping moksha for aside for 9 time. Okay. So let's aspire for it. But aspire in such a way, I would not demand, force the result to happen. That's what. And when that result happens or does not happen, be prepared to accept it. Be prepared to accept it. That is what ethically or the shastric way of doing your duty. Then it is dharma. If you do not do that, then it becomes adharma. If I expect a result, if I force a result, and I cause in the process, what happens when you expect and demand a result, to outcome to happen in certain way? We do not hesitate to act in whatever the means, be it a faithful manner or unfair manner. So that's where this kama, the so-called desire, gets into the problematic zone. That's where we always end up landing into. We try to force things. So then it becomes sinful. Okay? So then if you do that work, it is sinful because you are acting in mode of passion. So Krishna says everybody has 3 levels of consciousness or 3 modes. The swabhava, rather, the characteristic way of defining the mode is, the swabhava is this mode of goodness, sattva, rajo, tamo guna. So it's not that we are always in sattva, always in rajo, or always in tamo. No, it's always combination. It's a combination of it. Maybe 80% sattva, 10% raja, 10% tamo. Or maybe 50% this and rest of the 2. Like it could be any combination mixture. But when we act in rajoguna or tamoguna, that's where we get into this adharma, the simple way of doing things. When we act at the level of mode of goodness, it is dharmic, it is fair way of working, and most likely it will result into a pious reaction, punya. Mode of goodness, if we work in the mode of goodness, it results to punya. If we work in a mode of passion and ignorance, it results into papa karma, sinful activity, sinful reactions it will have. So that is the part Krishna is speaking here. Many times, many of the people are of that nature. So that's why Krishna is speaking about that. So why people act this sinfully? So then Arjuna is, Krishna is saying that it is because of kama yesha, kama. So when this kama is not fulfilled, desire is not fulfilled, just in simpler terms, if desire is not fulfilled, what happens? Pressure beats the frustration like pressure cooker. Frustration, anxiety, disturbance, lack of peace, no? You are saying something? Anger. Right. The anger is the bit later stage. It builds up, no? It has reached to the certain point, then the express anger. In the first place itself, anger does not come. Yes, it goes through a bit of transitory phase and then reaches to a point where you can't tolerate anymore. Just express that anger. So when this, so when the unfulfilled desires are there, it leads to anger. So this desires also two ways you can say that. One desire is, yes, no, Yes, I have job, roti, kapda, makan, comfortably also I am there. I am not happy with that. I want to have more. Hmm? So I want to increase my comforts. Hmm? Or I do not have, but I am aspiring for it, but some of things are not happening for me. Hmm? So Bhagavatam says that. So there are two reasons why we do this. Sukhaya, dukkha mokshaya. For increasing the happiness and to relieve to get rid of this pain or suffering. For these two reasons, sankalpa, we have karanam. Sankalpa, we make so many sankalpas. We make so many desires in this world. Just only for these two reasons. Do you think of any third reason? Right? To increase where you are, or whatever you lack, you try to have it more. Or whatever you are suffering, you want to overcome that suffering. Isn't it? That's simple. They are the only two things you make sankalpa, desire for in the life. But Krishna, Bhagavatam says, with that desire, you make so many elaborate plans and arrangements. But this world, things do not happen just like the way you or I wish. So there, because we always see the only the current situation or currently what I am, where you think, oh, I'm qualified, I'm also B.Tech or M.Tech or so degree. That person is also B.Tech, but he has it, but I don't have it. This is how we try to make comparison also. But what we do not know is that person is a unique person and he has a unique karma that he is carrying from lives, and I also have a unique personality having my own karmas that I am carrying, which we do not see. We tend to ignore that part. So all that also makes difference, gets into play when something is need to be realized or happen. All this is also important, but we tend to ignore that. So we make comparisons. We get into this envious nature. Oh, he has it. Why? I am a better person actually. I am more qualified than that person. Why? He is given, but I am not given. We get into this envious nature. And if at all anybody is becoming a bottleneck or a hurdle to our fulfilling our desires, we went out towards that person. Why are you becoming an obstacle to my happiness? This is how we went out. So that becomes into wrath. That gets into the stage of this anger, frustration, unfulfilled promises and desires. So what Bhagavatam says is, yes, you endeavor so many things, but what you get is, at the end, is dukkha. Dukkha. Because in the process of making this desire and chasing the desire to fulfill the desire, there's so much of disturbance, so much of anxiety. It all only leads to misery. Even if little progress you make, little things you achieve in the life, still you won't be happy. So there's a very nice saying, there's enough thing in this world for one man's need, but not one's greed. There's so much is there in this world to fulfill our need, but not one's greed. Not even one's greed. And Krishna also says in Bhagavatam, the jiva, the person who is very satisfied, such person even pleases Krishna. Satisfied person. In the Krishna's pastimes, there is one personality called Sudama. He is a childhood friend of Krishna. Very, very poor Brahmana. What is Brahmana? Brahmana is not by caste. Brahmana is by behavior. Brahmana means very, who is always in the mode of goodness. Brahmana is not in the mode of passion or mode of ignorance. Brahmana is in the mode of goodness always. So the qualities of mode of goodness is the person will be very satisfied person, very simple person. He is Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. He is well-wisher of all the living entities. He respects everyone. That kind of a person is called Brahmana. Those are the qualities of Brahmana Svabhavajam, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Brahmana Svabhavajam, all these qualities. Samadama, Titikshana, all these pieces. So such a person is even pleases Krishna, such a person. So this Sudama, childhood friend, very poor Brahmana. But Krishna, of course, childhood friend, he moved from Vrindavan to Mathura, from Mathura he moved to Dwaraka. And just like a Kshatriya, he was also ruling that part of the kingdom. Once he comes, makes a visit on his wife's request to visit Krishna. So Krishna, he is the first also Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Krishna respects, not respects, even worships the Brahmana. Because the quality of goodness is very rare. And becoming a devotee is much more rare. Quality of goodness means peacefully being satisfied with whatever the arrangements are there and Krishna has awarded and leading the life in those lines. And becoming a devotee is one level step higher, where you are submitting yourself for the pleasure of Krishna. My pleasures are no longer out there. So as long as my pleasures are there, I am thinking about my pleasure, I am acting in the mode of passion and ignorance. The moment I have reached a mode of goodness means, be satisfied with what is there, what Krishna has arranged by my destiny, by my karana, daiva or whatever the sukriti that I had, Krishna about something, be satisfied with it. And then Vaishnava means, whatever we have, just give it to Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna. So Sudama is on that level. He is a poor Brahmana, but whatever he has, he brought it to offer it to Krishna. What he had? Yes, just that rice, the flaked rice. Just a bunch of flaked. That also how much? He does not have enough. He need to collect it from the bottom of the tin container. Just collect a little bit and tied it to his dhoti, and he brought it. That's all he has. That's what pleases Krishna. That's what has pleased Krishna. Not only that, Krishna does abhishekam to him, to his padabhishekam. No?
By his tears.
Tears and Rukmini Mata, she assists him in washing the feet of this Sudama. What they do afterwards? They take the water and sprinkle on their head. So this mood of goodness, sattva, pleases the Lord so much that he desires to wash himself, purify himself by sprinkling their water from their lotus feet. That's how pleasing that mode of goodness is to Krishna. So the satisfaction is very, very great virtue. Being satisfied is the great virtue. So currently, this is what is troubling the current generation, current civilization. No satisfaction. Our father and forefather hardly were earning probably 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees probably per month. Before forefather means maybe 100 rupees. I don't know if that is also. And they had bigger families, joint families, bigger families. Now, to live in the city with 4 people, we are not happy with the lakhs of rupees we are receiving. Not satisfied. But do they have any problem with the roti kapda makam? No problem with the roti kapda makam. We want to increase, have this greed, So initially the kama, which is the mode of passion, if that gets, if if one desires more and more and more and more, that further degrades to greed, and greed is at the mode of ignorance. No, greed is at the level of ignorance. Tamoguna. See, you are stepping down. On one side, my economic financial status is increasing, but on the other side, my quality is decreasing. My quality mode of the mode in which I should be operating, that keeps on decreasing. To greed. So, and wrath is another problem again. So, one leads to another. Artha, what you desire, what you obtain through dharma, artha is desirable, is recommended, preferred. But if you pursue the path of adharma, demanding the result, expecting the result and all that, which we call it as adharma, which gives also some artha. But artha is no longer artha, it is anartha. So this artha, what you call, further leading to or adding to so many anarthas in us. What are those anarthas? It starts with kama. Gets changes to, transforms to krodha. Further transforms to lobha, kama, krodha, lobha, moha. So once the person gets into this lobha, excessive greediness or excessive desire, excessive accumulation, grabbing, he will get into this illusion, moha, where everything is in this world is temporary. Is there anything that is permanent, that is going to be there forever? Nothing. How much ever I maintain this body, the cosmetics, this and that, is going to decay in the course of time. How much ever the comforts I increase, those comforts are not going to prevent jara and vyadhi. Jara is old age, vyadhi is the diseases. Is anyone desiring for diseases? No, but disease is coming. Actually, we are making so much effort to avoid the diseases, but the diseases are coming. Jara, again old age. We are using so many anti-aging formulas, but still I am getting age. My hair is getting white, grey. Helpless. So, yes, we are chasing this artha, asuma, so-called financial status, which is not solving anything, which is only adding more and more anarthas into us. As it says, it's leading one transform to others. It is only the fall down that is we are seeing here. So, this is one important point Prabhupada has said in this purport. Krishna has given everyone certain level of independence. Certain level. That independence is only certain, only little, minute independence. We can't be totally independent, right? But there is light and minute independence in terms of where if life is presenting us with certain choices, we can choose one of the choices or combination of the choices. To that extent you have independence. And to the extent we make the choices are the consequences. Isn't it? To the extent we make the choices are the consequences. Yes, I am feeling very thirsty. Yes, I can drink coconut water. I can also drink Coca-Cola. Choice is yours. To the extent I make choice, the consequence is as per that. So between birth and death, life is presenting us so many choices between birth and death. So what you choose is that determines what you would be, what the path you are pursuing. So whether that path you pursue is in the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So we have to exercise this independence that Krishna has given us. Neither be ignorant of it, nor misuse it. Nor misuse it. And this life is the greatest opportunity Krishna has given us to use that independence and make the right choices. Why do I need to make a choice which is going to give me misery? Why do I need to drink Coca-Cola and then put myself into the trouble? Krishna has given me very natural coconut water. Why can't I take it? But we don't think that, isn't it? All instant soup, instant messaging, instant noodles, instant pizza, everything instant. Where is the hope for us to be happy? Are we not unknowingly inviting the trouble? This is what we have to inquire into this. What is really the purpose of life? Unless we are satisfied, we understand the goal of life, there is no way that we can increase or improve our quality of life. It does not matter whether I earn 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh or 10 lakhs in a month. My life is going to be same. If there is no quest for or go towards or understand the purpose of life. There are so many celebrities, so many people, rich people. They have so much money, so much beauty, so much of fame, everything they have. But they are committing suicides. They are pursuing wrong paths of the drugs or intoxication. Why they have to do all that? Because they neither have intelligence nor do they understand this. They are misusing the opportunity that is given by Krishna to them. Yes, they have given nice beauty to them. Nice the family in which they are being grown up, they are being given opportunity. They are misusing all of that facility. So this is very important point. We have to be understanding about this minute independence which Krishna has given. Use that independence to make right choices, to go towards at least improving the quality of life, purify the way we lived our life, not the sinful way of living. This is another important point Prabhupada says here. That is, the last sentence of that. Lust and wrath, when they are employed in Krishna consciousness, become our friends instead of our enemies. So, who is the enemy we are talking about here? The lust and the anger are the enemies. These enemies, if we engage them in the service of Krishna, they automatically become friends. This is what Krishna Prabhupada is saying here. So using this independence what Krishna has given, using the independence currently we are trying to enjoy myself, try to engage in the sense enjoyment for my sensual pleasure. Rather, if I use the same propensity for the pleasure of Krishna, the same wrath or kama become friend. Here Krishna Prabhupada has given this example of this Hanuman. Hanuman, he was on the mission to search Sita Mata and he went to Lanka. And he, out of definitely anger that Ravana brought Sita Mata there, he burned that whole Lanka. So that anger, though it is anger, that anger is not for himself, isn't it? When we get angry, anger is for what reason? About myself or anything related to me. But here the anger he has exhibited is not for himself, for his master, who is Lord Ram. Sita Mata is taken away, so that's why he got upset anger. Similarly, when we engage, be it desire or any such thing, in the service of Krishna, that becomes a friend. Otherwise, it will tend to act like an enemy. And there's one last point I will speak and then stop here. Though there are several things, this is very, very important, this instruction, what Krishna is speaking here. All of us are doing activities, isn't it? All of us are doing karma activities. But many times we get into the problem, get into this danger zone of anger or losing the temperament, dissatisfied, disturbed in the life only because of this one enemy, that is karma. We always see enemy externally in front of myself. My wife is enemy, my cousin is enemy, my friend is enemy, my colleague is enemy, like that. We don't see the enemy who is sitting right inside me. It's very difficult to identify this enemy. Right? It's very difficult because that enemy is not visible to me in front of me. Currently I am more of extroverted, trying to see everything outside of me. But if I start thinking about, look inward, then we see the real enemy who is sitting, hiding actually right in me, which is karma. Which is karma. If we can deal with, conquer this enemy, our life is successful. Our life is successful. Then we will be able to develop some attraction, some devotional service towards Krishna. As long as we do not deal with this enemy or we are not able to conquer this enemy within, we will remain disturbed. We will remain very full of anxious, situations, unsatisfied, lack of happiness, lack of peace in the life. So, how to conquer this enemy then? How to conquer? Do you want to conquer that enemy? All of us want to conquer, right? All of us want to conquer our enemy who is sitting right inside in the form of karma. How to conquer that? That's an important question. Important answer. Which Krishna says again. The last sloka of this chapter speaks about that. I will decide that, I will explain quickly on that. एवं बुद्धे परम बुद्धा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्. Thus knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind and intelligence, O mighty Arjuna, one should study the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. How to conquer it? By intelligence. By intelligence. Okay? Evam buddhi. So, this body is kind of categorized into two parts. Gross body and subtle body. The gross body consists of all the senses what you see. Eyes, ears, nose, everything that you see externally, all this is gross body. This is subtle body too, which is above this. That subtle body constitutes of the mind, intelligence and ego. So, the hierarchy, and there is a hierarchy Krishna has given here just a couple of slokas before, where he says the senses, what you see here, external, the senses are knowledge acquiring senses and working senses. Jnanendriya and Karmendriya. There are two sets of senses which are totaling 10. Jnanendriya 5, Karmendriya 5, total 10. All these 10 senses. Above these senses is the mind. Above this mind is the intelligence. This is the hierarchy. If this is so, is it not making sense to control the mind and to control the senses using the intelligence? That's highest. We know that mind is the leader of the senses, isn't it? We say mind is the leader of the senses. But this mind and senses, they work so cooperatively, they work in hand and glove. So, eyes desire to see beautiful picture, mind, yeah, it's right, you want to see it, yeah, please go ahead and see it. mind encourages you to see it. But that's when buddhi has to come into picture. What to see, what not to see. Buddhi has to tell. Mind, careful about not watching certain things. Be encouraged watching certain things. Similarly, hearing, careful about not hearing certain things. Yes, go ahead and hearing certain things. The mind has, buddhi has to tell. Now, how to have that buddhi? Okay, fine. Buddhi, with the buddhi I have to conquer. But my buddhi is now little contaminated. What to do now? Okay, wisdom, but everybody does not have same wisdom, right? Everybody is not similar kind of intellect or intelligence. Then what to do? Isn't it? So this is very important. This is where Chanakya says, one last instruction, we'll stop here. Teja durjana samasagam, Teja durjana samsargam, Bhaja sadhu samagamam. What is that? Teja durjana samsargam. Give up bad association. Cultivate good association. Association influences a lot. So we are all currently in the rat race of chasing our desires. The modern days, like the modern civilization, is like that. The kind of advertisement you see in the TV or the media, everything is like that. So Teja durjana samsargam. Give up all the bad associations. Cultivate good association. Then he says further, Kuru punyam ahoratram. What does kuru means? Do. Punya ahoratram. What does ahoratram means? Day in, day out. Day in, day out, do good deeds. Associate with good people. Give up bad people. Associate with good people. Do something good deeds. And then he says, the fourth one, Smara nityam anityatvam. The fourth one. If you remember these things and associate with the devotees, associate with the saintly people who are sattvic in nature, who are the mode of goodness, our desires, our karma, that also gets automatically influenced. Many times our desires are influenced by the society. Do you agree with the topic? Our society, it's not that I desire it. I have a fear of society. Oh, society, they may not accept me. I want to be acknowledged in the society as a person of some status or something like that, isn't it? Many times we fear for that society. But society is not going to solve the problem. Okay? So this is what Chanakya is saying. Give up such bad association. Associate with the good people. Endeavor for doing certain good deeds. And always remember how much ever I procure or acquire in the life. Everything is smara. Remember, nityam, always. Anityatvam, the temporary. Remember always the temporary nature of this material world. Temporary nature of this material world. Isn't it? Everything is temporary. If you remember this, you will never have this strong attachment or desire, neither have a hatred or enviousness towards the other person. That person is not going to be here, I am also not going to be here. So when we understand this, the bigger picture, we understand, at least make an effort to go, at least not go on the path of mode of passion or ignorance, at least take a step up and elevate ourselves towards mode of goodness and purify our life. Not live this sinful way of living, but a pure way of living in this fashion, in the association of the devotees, with selflessness, huh? Or service attitude. These are the things. I just pause here. I think already we are a few minutes past. So if you have any questions, comments, you can take one to start. So is that helpful? This question, what are we doing? So Bhagavad Gita really gives us way, a path how to behave, lead our life. So never ever leave this Bhagavad Gita. Take shelter of Bhagavad Gita. At least one instruction if you take, our life is glorious. This particular sloka, what we are discussing again, as I said, so it's very important. We have to understand this karma who is sitting behind as an enemy. Unknowingly, it is there, cheating us, taking us on the right path, which is stopping our happiness, which is becoming a hurdle to our happiness. If you want to be really happy, peaceful in the life, never be trapped by this karma, which is a symptom of the mind. Mind always makes you think it is fair ask on my part to desire it. It always tries to make you give a convincing response also to you. What is nothing wrong in asking, desiring to be happy in this life. That's why it tries to give you a convincing responses also. But as we discussed earlier, I don't desire disease, but I am getting it. This is how this world is designed. There are three tapas which are always there. Every living entity gets it. Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Atmika, we say that. We call it three tapa. Tapa is the sufferings. These three types of sufferings, everybody has. Everybody. It does not matter who that is. Everybody has it. Okay, so yeah, remember this. Be closer to these instructions which given by Lord Krishna himself, which is the greatest shelter for us to purify our life, correct our behavior, shows the path of happiness, path to peaceful way of living. Yes, any questions, comments?
I have a comment. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, Prabhuji. The thing is, you reminded us, how the mirror sometimes reminds us about all these points by the Chanakya and by so many things. Of course, there are, since we are, of course, subjected into the material stuffs, be it in the family or the financial or probably in the companies or in relations, sometimes our intelligence does not takes over, but there are so many things which takes over, but then you try to gave us that way that we can just work.
So association is very important for us to overcome this enemy. So one, as I said, yes, that enemy is karma. To conquer that enemy is buddhi, intelligence is required, and intelligence could be cultivated or obtained in the association of the devotees by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Otherwise, intelligence is not a intelligence quotient, which we usually call it IQ. Is not something by reading it or by doing something it will come. With the association it comes. The intelligence, making right choices, making right decisions, that comes in the association. Whereas in the association of the bad people, we say always what you are is tested with whom you are associating with. Isn't it? There's a saying, isn't it? What you are, your personality will be known by the kind of association that you have. That much how strongly this association influences us. So, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, he has given us this kind of a nice association, this kind of nice infrastructure, spiritual infrastructure, where we can take association of the devotees and guide our lives, mold our lives as per Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Any questions, comments?
Sir, it is very nice to hear all these things, but as we are, you are also working and I am also working. But you are very great. Anger will come by not getting the desired results.
Younger.
is coming while but not getting the desired results. So as we are in the younger age and I am not pinpointing someone, but the superiors in every organization, more or less, wherever I am working, they are always use this type of anger to get the desired results from the employees, and lastly they have taken all the wrong methods to get the desired results. So this type of good teachings has been told to those people because they are using us for their needs, and we are all on the service of them only. Now we are not we very much interested to doing the wrong things, but they are taking us granted for the things. And
So yeah, so here probably the wrong things here means there are two things. What we have to see is what is in our control is one thing.
yeah,
Okay. To maintain his body, we have to do some work based on our education qualification or whatever the situation it is. That cannot be changed overnight, isn't it? So whatever situation you are ready to do it, that job. The point what we are talking about here is the consciousness in which you work is what we are talking about here, adharma. The moment you attach yourself to the work and the result, that leads you onto the path of this mode of passion and ignorance, which is adharma. The moment you see that as a duty, yes, I am given this job to perform, I do this job sincerely, honestly, without any lethargy or the dullness or thing. Very actively, I do it because I am getting salary, definitely. I am getting salary, I don't have work. Who will give others money without doing any work? I have to do the job. Do the job, without any, the extra, right? That's what, basically you have to work at the level of mode of goodness. Then only you will have peace of mind to be able to sit and study, discuss, understand Bhagavad Gita or serve the Lordship. With agitated mind, we can't sit quietly like this and then try to do japa or try to do some devotional service. It's not possible. How much we have to? Yes, currently we are like that. That's true. That's where we have to make a start or deviation onto the right path. Is what we are saying. So what we are saying is not that the corporates doing or bad or good. They are doing with some mission purpose for whatever purpose they are doing it. But we have to. What are things in our control is what way we can influence, at least in our lives. Is what I am saying. Right? Is what we can take it into our life. Right? Now the questions will pause here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.